Here are the steps for adding or subtracting rational expressions with like denominators. The first step is to write it as a single fraction by adding or subtracting the numerators and keeping the denominator the same, and then simplify if possible to lowest terms. Here's an addition example. In this problem we're asked to add 5x plus 1 over 8x squared plus x minus 3 over 8x squared. The first thing to notice is that both of these fractions have the same denominator, so we can follow this procedure. And the first thing we want to do is write it as a single fraction by, in this case, adding the numerators together and then keeping the denominator the same. So we'll write it as 5x plus 1 and then plus x minus 3. We're adding the numerator terms together, all over top of the common denominator, which is 8x squared. That's the first step. And then the second step is just to simplify if possible. So there are like terms to combine in the numerator. 5x plus x is 6x. And then a positive 1 and a negative 3 will combine to give us a negative 2. So the numerator simplifies to 6x minus 2 by just combining like terms. Our denominator is 8x squared. A lot of times at this stage we're done because it can't reduce any further, but in this particular example I think we can reduce it a little bit further by, we can factor a common factor of 2 out from the numerator terms. Remember, the way to reduce a fraction to lowest terms is to factor the numerator and factor the denominator, and then if you see a common factor, simplify by canceling the common factor. So I'm factoring out a 2 from both terms in the numerator. That leaves us with 3x minus 1. And then in the denominator we have 8x squared, which we could just leave as 8x squared, or if you prefer, if this helps you to see the reducing better, we could factor 8 as 2 times 4. So either writing it as 8x squared or 2 times 4 times x squared is fine. At any rate, we can see that we have a common factor here of 2 that we can simplify by just canceling the 2's. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So this is now reduced to lowest terms as 3x minus 1 all over 4x squared. Okay. I have a subtraction example that I'll show you next. In this example we're asked to subtract. We've got 8x minus 7 all over 2x squared minus 7x plus 6 minus 6x minus 4 all over 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. So notice first of all that the denominators are exactly the same, so we can follow the procedure here for subtracting rational expressions with like denominators. First thing we need to do is to write it as a single fraction. So let's subtract the two numerators. We've got 8x minus 7, and we need to subtract from that 6x minus 4. Notice I'm putting the 6x minus 4 inside parentheses, and that's key with subtraction because that minus sign there, or that subtraction sign, has got to be distributed to all terms in the second numerator, which we'll do on the next step. And then just keep the denominator the same. 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. Okay, so we've written it as a single fraction. We now need to combine the like terms in the numerator, and to accomplish that, that negative sign there has to be distributed first to clear the parentheses. So we've got 8x minus 7 minus 6x, and then the double negative on the 4 makes it a plus 4. All over 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. There's like terms in the numerator that need to be combined. So let's see, 8x subtract 6x makes 2x, and then negative 7 plus 4 is minus 3. All over top of 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. Okay. Occasionally at this stage we're done because we can't factor the numerator or denominator and reduce, but we need to try always to see if there's a way to factor the numerator or the denominator, and then see if there's a common factor that we can simplify. The numerator cannot be factored. 2x minus 3 we just need to bring over as 2x minus 3. Since the denominator is a trinomial, there's a chance that it might factor, so I'm going to give it a try and see if I can factor the denominator here. Okay, so I'm thinking what times what is 2x squared, and that would have to be 2x times x. And now I'm thinking what times what would make 6. So that could be 3 times 2, or it could be 1 times 6. I'm going to try a 3 and a 2 and see if this works. We got a 4x and a 3x. If we make both of those terms negative, we'll arrive at negative 7x for the correct middle term. And negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. So the denominator factors as 2x minus 3 times x minus 2. And then looking at our numerator and denominator here, I see the common factor of 2x minus 3, so we can reduce by canceling those. And the final result in lowest terms here is x minus 2 in the denominator. And there's nothing in the numerator, which means there's an understood factor of 1 on top. So it's 1 over x minus 2 for the simplified result.